Hey there, Chad here for the AI Content Dojo. In this video, I actually just kind of want to take a step back and kind of get out of the thick of things, the like being deep into shortly AI or the competition between other applications in the writing space. And, as a friend recently told me, we can kind of get stuck in our own minds for these things, and it got me thinking. And I think that one of the things that we need to be careful of when we're using these tools is that, yes, they're amazing tools that give you writing superpowers and things like that, but also there's more to content creation than just writing something, right? So I just want to step back, kind of cover an overall sort of idea for content creation, because you're going to go through all these steps, right? You're going to come up with ideas like in a brainstorming type of session. You're probably going to do some research on the topics that you found that you're going to write about. Then you write about them. You're probably going to want to do some optimization of them for search engines and things like that. You're going to need to do editing, and before you publish, you don't want to put unedited work online. And then, of course, you need to publish it. And you probably want to publish it in a beautiful manner, or in multiple places and things like that. You don't want just sort of boring looking content, even if the content is amazing. And then you need to promote it to get it read and spread around the internet so you can bring in leads or more traffic, things like that. But it overall, that it kind of, there's something else, isn't there? It's not just about how much content can I crank out about something. It's there's usually a reason or a purpose. Like if you step back for a moment, like, what is your site or your service? Like, what is it really for? Who's that human that is coming to your page or to your documents or your articles, or your videos and your content? Who is that, and why are they there? And are you giving them what they want or what they need? And that could be a service. It could be an e-commerce product. It could really be any of those things. It could be a document of content that answers their questions. You name it. And there's times where, we get so deep into it that we're just creating content, and there could be a little bit of a disconnect between what it is that you're creating and who it's for. So, for instance, let's say that my content. I'm creating, especially lately, I've been creating almost exclusively shortly AI content. That's not the entire purpose of the AI Content Dojo. The dojo is to focus on the overall workflow as well, on each of the steps involved. So I've been highly focused on the writing step with this new, wave of GPT-3 AI writing tools. But I hope that most of the content I'm creating is not just here it is, but also here it is, how you can use it, and why I think it's helpful for you. And I'm trying to kind of give you that cliche aha moment where you go, oh, if I add this tool into my workflow in this way, I can create my content quicker. But there's something more about that writing experience I want to discuss too, because it's too easy to fall into the trap of you're just going to crank out content because you can. The content probably, for most of us, is something that's going to be read by a human that is looking for an answer or a solution to their problem. Maybe not necessarily a product that we're selling, but we're trying to get traffic to our blogs or our businesses. And so we're creating, helpful content. And that's kind of the focus. And that's what should be the focus if you're creating the content. But I think we fall into the trap where we're just kind of creating content because we can. Do you know what I mean? You might jump into shortly, prematurely even, but you haven't done really any brainstorming or research. But you just dive into shortly, and you just, shortly gives you some ideas. It outlines the ideas. You fill in some content with it. and you get to 1,500 words or 2,000 words and you consider yourself done. You might do some editing, I might do some SEO optimization if you're feeling like it, and then you publish it. And I think the missing part is that maybe you haven't spent the time to actually really connect with your reader. Like, who's your audience? Are you writing this with them in mind? I mean, when I say writing, even if it's AI, if the output that is coming from the AI is what you would have wrote yourself anyways, or would have written yourself anyways, then you're fine. That's the golden zone, right? Where you're writing what you want to write, and then the AI is sort of finishing your thought for you, and it's actually providing you the content that you would have written anyways. Sometimes better, sometimes you even get some serendipity where it provides you like an angle that you didn't think of, but is still on point for providing something of value to the reader. It's not just more content in there because you can generate the content. It's with a purpose. And so that's the part where I just wanted to step back for a moment and just say, brainstorm, sometimes go manual. You don't have to be all AI all the time. Make sure that you're really kind of connecting with your audience. You know what they want, you know how to answer it for them. You do the research to make sure that you cover everything really, really well. You don't leave anything out, but also you don't leave too much in that's just sort of extra and frivolous, right? You want to be on point, provide exactly what they need, do it in a really cool, creative way, do it in your own way, even if the AI is writing for you. I'm not saying that there's too many people out there that think that the AI is just generating stuff that, you would just use. You should be reviewing what the AI is creating and using it as if it would have been something you would have written anyways, not just use it because it sounds good. Make sure that it is on point for helping your reader. And that'll really help your overall website, your services anyways, because when your content is on point, your readers know. And I think I'm living it now. My previous site, Tokyo Spark, it's still online. Partially maybe because of COVID, it kind of died. But also, as I'm being a little bit more real with myself, the content that I was creating was I thought it was good content, but if you stop and think about it for a second, it didn't really connect with a specific reader I had in mind, or maybe there just weren't enough of an audience of those type of people that would come to the page, and there just wasn't enough focus, I think. And with the AI Content Dojo, I feel like it's almost instant success, and of course, I'm super thankful for that. But when I stop and think about it, it's mostly because I'm actually taking content that people need, like how to use some of these tools, how to kind of fit them together into a workflow, and how it's going to, kind of come together to be a process that you can use in your own business or your own sites that will save you money, save you time, or improve the quality of your output, all that kind of stuff. That's the purpose of it. So it's by default a very helpful concept, right? And the content that I'm creating actually focuses on that, focuses on showing you the variety of things that are coming with these tools, how you might use them to produce your content, and in different ways that you might use it to create your content. And so I guess that's the example of it being on point, And I just one more time real quick, the process, I think that pretty much all content goes through at some point. You're thinking about it, like you're brainstorming, you're coming up with the ideas to write about it. You should do the research. You don't have to be the subject matter expert, but learn about it to enough degree where you're not leaving stuff out that's completely obvious, or you're just too general about a topic, and you're not providing any additional insights that really make your content stand out. Writing is actually pretty simple now with tools like Shortly. You get in there, you dance with the AI, you get the content out, and as long as you're paying attention and while you're writing, even with the AI, you're constantly thinking about what your reader really needs, then it'll be good. After that, you might do a little bit of SEO, the most important part is making sure that you're helping a reader. If the person reading your article gets that instant feeling that, you know, this article is perfect for me to answer all my questions, then you're good to go. And of course the screen goes dark because I'm not moving around. After that, you're going to edit, right? You need to make sure you don't have any technical, you know, grammar issues and stuff like that. But also when you're using AI, it just sometimes words things in a little fluffy kind of way. And a tool like Grammarly is really nice because it has some it actually has AI of its own, but it does it for writing clarity and writing tone and stuff like that. And it really helps kind of spruce up your content quickly when you're publishing, whatever your platform is, you know, or probably multiple platforms. You know, you want to publish it in a really attractive way so that you're not boring the reader to death, or you're, you know, at least the layout and white space and stuff make it easy to read and easy to follow. And then when you're promoting, you know, if your content it really is a helpful piece of content or a fantastic service or an awesome product or something like that, there's no reason to be sort of hesitant about promoting it or having a sort of, you know, fear that people might say something, you know, in spite of it. Of course, you're going to run into people who say something negative no matter what it is. But if you have a solid quality article or product or whatever, you know, you don't need to be bashful about promoting it, and it'll probably start to sell or, you know, sort of market itself anyways. And that's kind of just what I wanted to do in this video, is just sort of, here's the overview, and at the same time, think about your reader, think about your customer, the person coming to visit you, you know, the time that they're giving you, you know, pay respect to that, and, you know, think about your audience before you're just creating content just to create it. That's it for this guide. I hope you find it helpful. And if you have any questions or if you have any comments on it, please drop it in the comment section below. I read everything. And take care.